Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Battle Through the Heavens based on novel. So let's start. Xiao Yan's finger gently rubbed over a dark black ring. Among the large collection that Yao Lao had left behind, there was an ultimate pill refinement skill that he was extremely proud of. This ability was something that even Han Feng had never come into contact with because he did not possess the level or ability. This so-called ultimate pill refinement skill was called spiritual enhancement. Teacher, protect me. Xiao Yang slightly shut his eyes. He inhaled a deep breath of air before suddenly reopening them. His hands in the light pillar were suddenly clenched. A shocking energy ripple rolled out. Xiao Yang's hand was slowly withdrawn in front of the countless number of gazes focusing on him. A thumb-sized dim red medicinal pill immediately appeared in front of the gazes of everyone present. The medicinal pill was dark red with a sleek appearance. Moreover, the thing that greatly shocked others was the faint fog that was lingering over the medicinal pill. This fog appeared to possess some intelligence, and it would occasionally agglomerate into various shapes. It lingered around the medicinal pill, and was exceptionally mysterious. Xiao Yang took the medicinal pill out of the light pillar. His expression was exceptionally solemn. This so-called spiritual enhancement method could be considered the best work of Yao Lao, something he was extremely satisfied with. However, even the creator of this method seldom used it because this method of spiritual enhancement was overly harsh on the user. If Xiao Yang had not advanced to the 8th tier, it was likely that even he would not dare to even think about using this pill refinement method. Xiao Yang's eyes stared at the dark red medicinal pill in his hand. A moment later, he pulled his hand back. The medicinal pill was slowly suspended in front of him, gently leaping in a mischievous manner. Xiao Yang suddenly clenched his hand, after having released the medicinal pill. The jade-green glazed lotus heart flame appeared in his hand. After which, he flicked his finger and the dark black ring on his finger shook. A dense white flame was suddenly emitted. Bone-chilling flame. Xian Kongzi's group, Old Mu Jiyu, and Old Demon Qing Hua softly muttered to themselves. They were all startled when the white flame appeared. It is unexpected that Yao Chen has even handed him the bone-chilling flame. Looks like he really views Xiao Yang as his true disciple. The pretty woman's eyes were startled when she saw the dense white flame. It was a moment later before she softly spoke. Her eyes were looking at Xiao Yang appeared to grow more gentle. Countless numbers of gazes looked at the three flames lingering around Xiao Yang. Some of the people who knew their stuff immediately inhaled a violent gasp of cool air. The eyes of some alchemists revealed a hunger. Bang! Before the expressions of desire from these fellows spread, a thought flashed through Xiao Yang's mind. 3 types of flames rushed out. They violently collided together in front of the many shocked gazes. With collision of the 3 types of flames, an annihilation-like aura quietly appeared. Before it could spread, a vast and mighty spiritual pressure surged from between Xiao Yang's eyebrows. After which, spiritual strength was just like a dragnet, as it surrounded the flames before rapidly beginning to rotate. Xiao Yang was already extremely familiar with merging these flames. This action might appear extremely crazy in the eyes of others, but it was commonplace to him. Merging the extermination fire lotus was far more difficult than merging these flames together. While his spiritual strength rapidly rotated, the 3 clusters of flames swiftly calmed down in front of numerous shocked eyes. Around a couple of minutes later, a wisp of a fist-sized brown-green flame suddenly appeared. Xiao Yang waved his sleeve after the flame appeared. This wisp of brown-green flame swiftly rushed out. After which, it wrapped around the dark red medicinal pill, naughtily leaping in front of him. This fellow is crazy. Does he intend to destroy the medicinal pill? Xiao Yang's actions immediately stirred a commotion across the entire plaza. Countless numbers of people were looking at Xiao Yang. Was this fellow attempting to destroy the medicinal pill? The brows of old Mu Jiyu in the distance suddenly twitched when he saw what Xiao Yang was doing. He vaguely felt an uneasiness appearing. This? Xian Kongzi's group on the tall stage also displayed stunned faces. A moment later, the pretty woman was the first to recover. Her eyes flickered. After a short while, she softly explained, "Do you all still remember that crazy thing Yao Chen did after refining a tier 8 medicinal pill back then?" Xian Kongzi and the other elder trembled upon hearing the pretty woman's words. They exclaimed, "You mean Yao Chen's spiritual enhancement method?" The pretty woman slowly nodded. Her eyes returned to Xiao Yang, who was on a distant stone platform. She said, "Looks like this disciple of Yao Chen has really learned all of his skills. Xian Kong, you might have to thank him this time around." Xian Kong Zi let out a deep breath. An excitement that was hidden deeply flashed across his eyes. If Xiao Yang were able to succeed, he might really be able to turn this situation, which seemed to be a foregone conclusion, around. The dark red medicinal pill, that had been surrounded by the brown-green colored flame in front of the countless number of gazes present, suddenly shook. Immediately, everyone watched as the sleek round surface of the medicinal pill became a little uneven. Wave after wave of a faint spiritual fog spread from the interior of the medicinal pill. However, it was unable to escape due to it had been ensnared by the brown-green flame. Xiao Yang's eyes were unblinking as he stared at the surface of the medicinal pill, which was becoming drier. The spiritual aura within it was completely removed at this moment. He suddenly flicked his finger, and 2 tiny pieces of flickering dust suddenly rushed out of his storage ring, entering the flame. This flickering dust was naturally the spirit nourishment powder that Xiao Yang had obtained back then. This mysterious item contained a spiritual aura. It would enable one to obtain double the effect with half the effort when used at such a moment. The dust had just entered the flame when it swiftly scattered and became invisible. However, experts with strong perception would be able to sense the spiritual aura within the flame become unusually dense. Spiritual aura surged while Xiao Yang's expression became more solemn at this moment. A mighty spiritual strength surged out without being held back. After which, it swarmed into the flame before it controlled the flame with unmatched precision. With an extremely slow speed, his spiritual strength compressed the spiritual aura in the medicinal pill. If an alchemist who could use his or her spiritual strength to scan the medicinal pill at such close proximity, he or she would discover that the medicinal pill's surface, which had become uneven, was filled with tons of densely packed, tiny holes at this moment. There were many extremely faint spiritual auras that were just like ropes, pulling in the spiritual aura surrounding it. Xiao Yang's expression was solemn. He suddenly bit the tip of his tongue. A mouthful of fresh blood was spat out and slowly scattered before spilling into the flames. Blood offering, spiritual return. The blood fog scattered. A faint paleness also surfaced on Xiao Yang's face. His mouth suddenly emitted a low cry that spread over the spiritual fog. Immediately, the fog appeared like bees returning to their hive as the spiritual fog was pulled into the medicinal pills through all the extremely tiny holes on the pill's surface. When the final trace of fog entered the medicinal pill, everyone was stunned. Its somewhat uneven surface swiftly became round at a speed visible to the naked eye. The 3-colored thundercloud in the distant sky appeared to be dragged by something when the surface of the medicinal pill once again became sleek and round. It suddenly began to churn once again. This scene was just like a bomb. With a bang, it caused the entire square to descend into a sea of shock. The thundercloud in the sky has begun to change. A cry of disbelief suddenly resounded over the sky. Immediately, countless numbers of gazes firmly focused on the thundercloud above Xiao Yang's head. People gasped as the original pill lightning began to change with the churning of the thundercloud. The expressions of a countless number of people were just stunned as they looked at this strange scene. Xiao Yang had actually done it. Good fellow, very incredible. Some people finally recovered in front of the stunned gazes of the countless number of people. They immediately cried out in an excited manner. Today, Xiao Yang had allowed them to witness a miracle. Cao Ying's heart had risen to her throat earlier, but it finally fell, as she stood on a distant stone platform. Her hand patted her full chest, which was rising and falling. A beautiful and bewitching smile quietly appeared on her face. He has really succeeded. Even Xian Kongzi and the other important people on the tall stage were somewhat absent-minded at this moment. Their eyes were stunned as they watched the young figure on the stone platform. An envious expression involuntarily surfaced in Xian Kongzi's eyes as he softly said, "I really envy that old fellow Yao Chen. He was able to find such an outstanding disciple." The situation has begun to change again. Next, we will just have to see just where Xiao Yang reaches. He is destined to be the main character in this pill gathering. Ha ha, it's just like that old fellow back then. The pretty woman slightly nodded and laughed. Those around also nodded upon hearing her words. Their eyes immediately looked to the thundercloud gathered in the sky with some anxiety. The situation they had thought was a foregone conclusion had been shaken by Xiao Yang. However, they still needed to wait for the change in the thundercloud to establish the final result. How is this possible? Compared to the joy of Xian Kongzi's group, the expression of old Mu Jiyu had instantly sunk. He had not imagined that Xiao Yan would be able to rely on his own strength to shake the situation. A situation old Mu Jiyu thought had already been finalized. This person will definitely be a great enemy of the Hall of Souls in the future. A rich killing intent suddenly surged into the heart of old Mu Jiyu, while his expression was dark and gloomy. Xiao Yang was able to reach this stage at such an age. If he were given enough time, would he not end up becoming an ultimate existence of this world? Old Mu Jiyu inhaled a deep breath of air and suppressed the churning killing intent within his heart. His expression was dark and cold as he stared at Xiao Yang. After which, he glanced at the churning thundercloud in the sky as muttered to himself, although the skill of this brat is a little unexpected, it might not be able to surpass the old me. It is a little too early to act pleased now. Old Mugu's heart slightly sank when he saw this scene from the stone platform. The fists in his sleeves were tightened. The golden light brightened under the focus of a countless number of excited eyes. In the end, the brightness caught up with old Mugu's four-colored thundercloud. Even the richness of the color had become similar to it. After the golden light completely appeared, everyone thought this would be the end, but they were suddenly shocked to discover that the churning of the thundercloud did not come to a stop. The people present had gained a simple understanding of the thunderclouds after the many experiences from earlier. They naturally knew that this meant the pill lightning's energy had yet to stabilize. There was still something brewing within the churning cloud. The thundercloud churned and the entire plaza had strangely descended into silence. Everyone held their breaths, and their eyes appeared to be fixed to the thundercloud. If this thundercloud were to reveal even a hint of color at this moment, it was likely that the champion of this pill gathering would transfer from old Mu Jiyu to Xiao Yang. Everyone raised their heads. Their throats rolled, emitting wave after wave of saliva sounds. An anxious atmosphere covered the entire stadium. At this moment, even Cao Ying's group could not resist clenching their hands. The heartbeats in their chests had suddenly become faster. Old Mu Jiyu was also staring at the churning thundercloud in the sky from the stone platform. His face was a little distorted. His eyes turned to Xiao Yang in the distance. However, he only saw Xiao Yang standing there with his hands behind him. Xiao Yang's relaxed demeanor caused his heart to abruptly sink. An unusually terrifying, thunderous might suddenly surged, while an uneasiness surged within old Mugu's heart. After which, it scattered across the sky. Not good. Old Mugu's expression suddenly turned white when the thunderous might appeared. He suddenly raised his head, only to see the churning thundercloud slowly come to a halt. A moment later, the cloud churned and a wisp of a purple light quietly penetrated the cloud layer with a gold-like radiance. It dyed the thundercloud a faint purple color. The purple color had just appeared when the thundercloud turned into a five-colored pill lightning. Five-colored pill lightning. This kind of legendary thing had finally appeared in front of their eyes at this moment. How could this not cause them to be agitated and excited? Everyone knew that the victor of this pill gathering had been decided. Numerous heated eyes from all around were looked on the skinny figure standing on a stone platform in the sky. The degree of heat had reached a crazy level. Who could have possibly imagined that the foregone conclusion of the pill gathering would make a complete reversal because of a young man in his 20s? From today on, the name Xiao Yang would completely resonate over the entire Central Plains region. Cao Ying's pretty eyes also contained some excitement as she stared at the young man, whose expression had remained calm despite being the focus of tens of thousands of gazes. An unusual glint twinkled deep within her pretty eyes. The twinkling let anyone who witnessed it know that this witch, the person the Cao clan was most proud of, had begun to feel a warmth. Of course, no one could deny that Xiao Yang possesses a charm that no one could match at this moment. It was something brought about by success. Xiao Yang sighed in relief within his heart after the five-colored thundercloud was formed. His tensed nerves relaxed at this moment. Waves of dizziness were transmitted to the rest of his body from his head. That so-called spiritual enhancement method had really exhausted his spiritual strength. Creak. Old Mugu's face was green as he looked at the five-colored thundercloud in the sky. His dark, dense eyes suddenly swung to Xiao Yang. His fist was clenched until it emitted a cracking sound. His victory had been in reach, but it was shattered by Xiao Yang. How could old Mu Jiyu not become furious? The moment the five-colored thundercloud appeared, old Mu Jiyu understood that the champion's spot had distanced itself from him. A rough breathing was emitted from the nostrils of old Mu Jiyu. His eyes gained a dense killing intent as he stared at Xiao Yang. However, just as his desire to kill had reached its peak, ice-cold eyes suddenly swept over, causing the killing intent within his heart to instantly shatter. His head turned, only to see Xian Kongzi using an ice-cold gaze to stare at him from a tall platform. A mouthful of fresh blood was spat out of old Mu Gu's mouth. His feet only stabilized after taking 2 steps back. Both of his eyes were vicious as he looked at Xiao Yang, appearing exceptionally terrifying. With the status of old Mu Jiyu, he was a renowned existence even within the Central Plains region. However, at this moment, he had been impaired by the hands of Xiao Yang, a member of the younger generation. How could he easily swallow the anger in his heart? However, regardless of how furious, he needed to suppress his killing intent. He understood that his appearance had already caused Xian Kongzi and the rest to view him as a thorn in their sides. Xian Kongzi had not acted because he had not found an excuse to. However, if old Mu Jiyu were to do anything that deviated from the norm, Xian Kongzi would use a bombshell tactic to kill him, this scourge. Hence, old Mu Jiyu could only crush his teeth and swallow his anger at this moment. Xiao Yang, do not be happy just yet. The pill gathering is not completely over. With your strength it is just a fantasy, if you wish to receive this 5-colored pill lightning. However, this old Mu Jiyu was an extremely scheming person. After suppressing his anger, he caught sight of the enormous 5-colored thundercloud in the sky, and he suddenly jeered at Xiao Yang with a cold laugh. Receiving the pill lightning was also a test of the pill gathering. A tier 8 medicinal pill was too powerful. The natural strength it created could destroy it. If the alchemist was unable to protect the medicinal pill, it would be destroyed as a result. Hence, receiving the pill lightning and protecting the medicinal pill was also part of the final test. The pill lightning's strength rose along with the quality of the medicinal pill. An ordinary elite Dozun would not dare to slight this kind of 5-colored thundercloud. From the way old Mu Jiyu saw it, Xiao Yang was merely a Dozong. Even though Xiao Yang possessed many tactics, it would not be an easy matter to receive this pill lightning. Moreover, if he was unlucky and ended up destroying the medicinal pill while receiving the pill lightning, Xiao Yang would not only lose his champion spot, but would also lose the qualification to participate in the competition. After all, how could one participate if one's medicinal pill was gone? The surging sound of the entire square was reduced when everyone heard old Mu Gu's cold laughter. With his reminder, they finally discovered that the true strength of Xiao Yang was only at the Dozong level. Although this kind of strength was already quite great, it was insufficient against a 5-colored pill lightning. Quite a number of people looked at each other. The most difficult portion had already finished. However, was it possible that Xiao Yang might be forced to death at this critical moment? Few people really cared if one could receive the pill lightning. While refining medicinal pills during normal times, alchemists could gather many helpers to help block the pill lightning. After all, alchemists did not rely on themselves when fighting others. Many experts would volunteer to protect an alchemist who could refine a high-tier medicinal pill. A high-tier alchemist had no need to worry about finding helpers. Although one might say this, receiving the pill lightning had been a rule of the pill gathering for a long time. Even though it did not match the reality of the situation, one did not have any other choice. This fellow is still not giving up. Old Mu Jiyu assumed Xiao Yang was putting on a brave front once he how calm Xiao Yang was. The cold smile on his face became even richer as he said in a dark and dense manner, "All right, the old me shall see just how you will receive this 5-colored pill lightning with your abilities." Xiao Yang smiled. He raised his head and looked at the seething sky. There was a faint, but bright bolt of lightning that cut through the long sky with a bang. The sky lit up like the sun was out. From the looks of this thunderous might, this 5-colored pill lightning was indeed extremely terrifying. No wonder old Mu Jiyu adopted an attitude of watching a show. If the earth demon puppet could not absorb lightning, Xiao Yang might have really been stuck with a massive headache today. Unfortunately, a soft laugh was emitted from Xiao Yang's mouth. His hand was gently raised and the storage ring on his finger slightly flashed. Immediately, a bright silver figure appeared in front of him. The current earth demon puppet was in a miserable state after having blocked old Jiyu Mu's killing move within the pill realm. Not only had its chest sunk into its body, but its harder-than-metal skin had split, revealing its silver-colored flesh. This sudden action of Xiao Yang immediately attracted many gazes. However, after these gazes saw that he had summoned a nearly crippled puppet, they involuntarily felt a little disappointed. Could it be that Xiao Yan was hoping to deal with the terrifying five-colored pill lightning with this nearly ruined puppet? Old Mu Jiyu was stunned because of the earth demon puppet that Xiao Yan had summoned. He was familiar with this thing. If this puppet had not jumped in front of him within this pill realm, he would have killed Cao Ying on the spot. It was because of his contact with this thing that his face involuntarily revealed a mocking smile when he saw that Xiao Yang was planning on relying on this thing to block the five-colored pill lightning. This puppet was unable to receive even a punch from him. How would it be able to receive the five-colored pill lightning? According Old Mugu's guess, that silver-colored puppet should only be around an 8 or 9-star do zone. It could be considered a puppet of a high level, and it could be used to block 1 or 2 bolts of five-colored pill lightning. However, one was daydreaming if one wished to rely on it to endure the entire pill lightning. I think that you are randomly looking for solutions. Old Mu Jiyu shook his head as he laughed with a mocking tone. Xiao Yang did not mind Old Mugu's laughter. Someone who failed would always find other methods to vent one's anger. This venting appeared a little sad. Xiao Yang's hand gently rubbed the body of the earth demon puppet. Although this earth demon puppet had been left in tragic state after its battle with Old Mu Jiyu, it was fortunate that this thing did not possess any form of intelligence or any feelings of pain. As long as its body was not destroyed, it would obey Xiao Yang's orders forever. I will rely on you this time around. Xiao Yang smiled as his hand gently patted the body of the earth demon puppet. He suddenly raised his head and looked at the five-colored thundercloud, emitting low rumbles in the sky. He laughed out loud, "Come." The churning of the thundercloud in the sky intensified after Xiao Yang laughed. A deep rumble reverberated above the ground. A thigh-thick, bright bolt of lightning shot through the cloud. This puppet is absorbing the thunderbolt's strength. Old Mugu's eyes immediately contracted when he saw the earth demon puppet grow brighter after being struck by the lightning. This kind of strange puppet was one that he had never even heard of. No wonder this fellow is so confident. He possesses such a unique puppet. Bastard. Had I known back then, I would have destroyed it in the pill realm. The expression of Old Mu Jiyu turned gloomy to the point of being frightening. His heart was filled with regret. If his blow had been a little heavier within the pill realm, this earth demon puppet would have been laid to waste. Now, Xiao Yang would use this sharp weapon to avoid the lightning. Compared to the gloominess and regret of Old Mu Jiyu, Cao Ying's group sighed in relief at this moment. Although she was unaware of why this unique puppet possessed such a strength, reality told them that Xiao Yang successfully passed the final test. The champion spot of the pill gathering belonged to him. Ha ha, this little fellow does indeed possess a lot of treasures. A puppet that absorbs the strength of a thunderbolt. Back then, I saw one in an ancient ruin. Unfortunately, it was destroyed while those fellows were fighting over it. The pretty woman on the tall stage smiled as she softly reminisced. That old bastard Mu Jiyu is likely feeling depressed. That dark-skinned, old man also revealed a gloating smile on his face at this moment. Xian Kong Zi nodded with a grin. The current him had once again recovered his usual calmness. His fingers crossed each other as he smiled and said, "This time around, our pill tower will owe this little fellow a favor." Bright thunderbolts danced ferociously in the sky like large, roaring dragons. Immediately, a bright lightning glow rushed down from all directions. Finally, they came together to strike the body of the earth demon puppet. The thunderbolt violently landed on the body of the earth demon puppet. A bright silver bolt blasted apart. Immediately, it transformed into countless numbers of tiny electric serpent flowed along the skin of the earth demon puppet before entering its body. Bright strength surged into the body of the earth demon puppet, swiftly strengthening its bones and shriveled skin. Looking from a distance, the earth demon puppet appeared, just like a thunder god suspended in the sky. Lightning glows flickered in 100-foot radius of it. That terrifying momentum caused people to involuntarily feel the skin on their heads turn numb. Xiao Yang stood with his hands behind him on the stone stage. The earth demon puppet forcefully received all of the five-colored thunderbolts that shot toward him, letting him be incomparably relaxed. He did not even need to waste the slightest strength to deal with this troublesome pill lightning. Rumbling thunder resounded unceasingly over the sky. The churning five-colored thundercloud, a lightning-producing device that continuously spat out powerful thunderbolts. Finally, they landed on the body of the sky demon puppet. The five-colored thundercloud surged. This continued for 10 minutes before it gradually came to a stop. Almost 100 frightening thunderbolts rushed down from the thundercloud during these 10 minutes. Fortunately, these bolts of lightning did not harm the earth demon puppet. Instead, its bright silver surface was vaguely speckled with golden lusters. It is indeed worthy of being a 5-colored pill lightning. The sharp eyes of Xiao Yan were the first to discover golden lusters flickering around the body of the earth demon puppet. Immediately, an expression of joy involuntarily surged into his eyes. Although this golden color was extremely faint, Xiao Yan was quite satisfied with it. He clearly understood just what kind of enormous strength would be needed in order to evolve the earth demon puppet into the sky demon puppet. However, the entire body of the sky demon puppet is golden color. Currently, the earth demon puppet still has some distance to it. An expression of thought flashed across Xiao Yang's face after he felt joyful. He softly muttered, "This is insufficient." While Xiao Yang mused, the 5-colored thundercloud in the sky seemed to have become somewhat furious when the thunderbolts were absorbed by the earth demon puppet. Immediately, the cloud churned. An unusual suction force suddenly surged out from the cloud. Everyone was stunned to discover a couple of the thunderclouds appeared like they were being towed by something. They slowly gathered around the 5-colored pill lightning. Everyone was stunned upon seeing this scene. Even Xian Kongzi and the others did not expect these pill lightnings to form such an unusual change. The expressions of Cao Ying's group became stunned. They watched the pill lightning above their heads gathering in the sky where Xiao Yang was located. A moment later, an extremely large thundercloud covered the sky. This brat's luck is unusually bad. Even the heavens are helping the old me. The pill lightning has attracted each other and is gathering in the same spot. This might will soar once again. Should we intervene? In such a situation, it would not be overboard for us to intervene. Xian Kongzi slightly knit his eyebrows as he observed the unusual phenomenon in the sky. He finally asked the people around him a question. He was a little worried that an accident might occur to Xiao Yang in this kind of situation. "Let's wait a little first." "This little fellow does not appear worried," the pretty woman shook her head as she softly replied. The eyes of Xian Kongzi's group turned to Xiao Yang on the stone platform upon hearing her words. They did indeed see him with his head up, looking at the dense thundercloud in the sky. His face was not only without worry, he even seemed excited. This? Even Xian Kongzi ended up widening his mouth upon seeing this scene. Immediately, he shook his head with a bitter smile. It seemed that he had indeed underestimated Xiao Yang. The energy in around the plaza had become unusually violent with the gathering thundercloud. A terrifying thunderous might spread across the sky, causing the dou qi within one's body to appear a little sluggish at this moment. Bang! The thundercloud finally unleashed its terrifying destructive strength soon after it was agglomerated. Bright thunderbolts rushed down from the large cloud in all directions. Their directions all suddenly changed as they flew through the air, and they all pointed at the earth demon puppet in the sky. Clang! Numerous thunderbolts full of terrifying strength poured down on the earth demon puppet like a storm. Immediately, a clear metallic sound resonated over the stadium. Bang! The earth demon puppet's body continued to fall under the wild attacks of these thunderbolts. The surrounding space formed some dark black spatial cracks amid this attack. What powerful thunderbolts! Quite a number of people's expressions changed when they saw the dark black spatial lines. Their eyes were stunned as they looked at the strengthening earth demon puppet within the lightning-filled sky. Although they were unable to sense the aura of the earth demon puppet, anyone with sharp eyes could tell that the earth demon puppet was growing stronger amid the thunderbolts pouring down from the sky. After half an hour of the pill lightning's baptism, the originally bright silver body of the earth demon puppet had half transformed into a glittering golden color. Bang bang! The pill lightning continued its destruction even though it felt unsatisfied. Eventually, it involuntarily let go of this bone that was difficult to chew. The energy that fluctuated within the cloud layer slowly paled. After which, the thick thundercloud slowly scattered in front of the countless number of gazes below. When this frightening pill lightning finally withdrew, Xiao Yang watched as the remaining piece of palm-sized silver on the earth demon puppet's body suddenly changed to a golden color. While the earth demon puppets changed into this golden color, Xiao Yang could vaguely sense the interior of the earth demon puppet undergo a monstrous transformation. Following the scattering of the thundercloud, the golden-colored earth demon puppet also leaped to its feet. After which, space distorted, and a kai sound appeared in front of Xiao Yang. After which, the puppet stood at his side like the most loyal guard. Is it finally about to succeed? Xiao Yang's eyes were heated as he stared at the earth demon puppet in front of him. His hand gently pressed down on its golden-colored skin. Strangely, not even the slightest feeling of hardness remained. Instead, it appeared even softer. Xiao Yang raised his eyebrows upon sensing this change. He flicked his finger, and a jade-green flame agglomerated into the shape of a dagger on the tip of his finger. After which, it viciously cut across the earth demon puppet's golden-colored skin. When the flame transformed into a dagger, Xiao Yang was stunned to discover a faint white scar form on its skin. Moreover, this white scar automatically disappeared. What a terrifying defense! Xiao Yang involuntarily inhaled a breath of cool air when he saw this. His eyes were fiery hot as he stared at the earth demon puppet. However, calling it the sky demon puppet would likely be more suitable now. After so many years of grooming, this puppet Xiao Yang had built had finally evolved to the highest level. With the sky demon puppet, Xiao Yang would own another life-preserving trump card. Xiao Yang gently smiled as his finger patted the arm of the sky demon puppet. He smiled. The returns of this pill gathering were far beyond his expectations. Xian Kongzi on the tall stage smiled at the entire stadium. Immediately, he took a step forward. His eyes slowly swept over the sky before pausing on a skinny figure. The old me shall not say any unnecessary words at this moment. The pill lightning has scattered. All the competitors, please take out the medicinal pills that you have refined. The 10+ people still remaining on the stone platform hesitated for a moment upon hearing Xian Kongzi's voice. Numerous round and shiny medicinal pills slowly flew from their hands. They floated in front of them. The medicinal fragrances lingering in the plaza had become much denser when these medicinal pills appeared. Innumerable gazes looked over. 9 night pearl existences were present amid the floating medicinal pills. Although they were of good quality and were sought after tier 7 high-grade medicinal pills, they were not eye-catching. This was because above these 9 tier 7 medicinal pills were 5 medicinal pills with faint spiritual fogs encircling them. Although the outer appearance of a tier 7 pill and a tier 8 pill was similar, even someone who knew nothing about pill refinement would be able to tell the difference between the two. This difference was the difference in spirituality. The energy of a tier 7 medicinal pill was extremely dense. However, it was a dead pill. On the other hand, a tier 8 medicinal pill possessed its own spirituality. Only this kind of medicinal pill could be called a living pill, or a spiritual pill. The 5 tier 8 medicinal pills had just appeared when tried to increase the distance between each other. Cao Ying's and Dan Chen's medicinal pills were the ones with the weakest spirituality among these 5 medicinal pills. A faint spiritual fog lingered around their medicinal pills, and the fog vaguely agglomerated into a fox and rabbit image. A tier 8 medicinal pill already possessed some spirituality. This statement was true from the looks of it since the pill was able to form a shape. Countless numbers of curious gazes looked at the 5 tier 8 medicinal pills in the air. This strange scene was witnessed by quite a number of people for the first time. Tier 8 medicinal pills were indeed extraordinary. Not far beside the medicinal pills of Cao Ying and Dan Chen were 3 comparatively larger medicinal pills. Among them, the medicinal pill of old demon Qinghua had formed a bear shape. However, it did not possess any fighting thoughts. It merely guarded its territory, because it knew it would not be able to deal with those other 2 fierce existences. While being surrounded by the 4 other tier 8 medicinal pills, the medicinal pill of old Mu Jiyu, which had stirred a 4-colored pill lightning, was filled with spiritual aura. It had formed a ferocious tiger shape that was repeatedly roaring at Xiao Yang's bone-growing blood-fusing pill. It appeared to be extremely dissatisfied that the other party had snatched the prestige that ought to belong to it. They had witnessed the occurrence of a miracle, as well as the great pride in turning things around with one's own strength. This pride caused the hearts of a countless number of people turned chaotic. Their blood boiled as a result. Xiao Yang overlooked the boiling stadium from the stone platform above. He involuntarily smiled. Immediately, his eyes looked to the sky while he softly muttered in his heart, "Teacher, this disciple did not cause you to lose face." Cao Ying and the rest revealed envious expressions in their eyes as they looked at Xiao Yang, who is the center of attention for tens of thousands of people. At this moment, he was undoubtedly the most dazzling person on stage. The champion of the pill gathering. This qualification was the representation of a peak expert, because all pill-gathering champions from previous generations eventually became top existences. This point was enough to cause the people around to understand just what kind of shocking potential this skinny, young man possessed. Song Qing's expression was complicated as he stared at Xiao Yang. His eyes were jealous, but still displayed a great amount of helplessness. Xiao Yang's performance this time around had caused a defeated feeling to appear in his heart. He didn't even possess the thought of catching up to Xiao Yang. Bastard! The most furious person was naturally old Mu Jiyu. The champion position that he was about to obtain had suddenly disappeared. Moreover, he had been ridiculed by Xiao Yang. How could this not cause this alchemist guru, who possessed quite a great reputation in the Central Plains, to be furious? Although he was furious, he was unable to do anything at this moment. He could only watch as the ultimate glory of being the champion steadily landed on Xiao Yang's shoulders. Rat, you should not be happy. The old me swears that I will deal with you personally. Old Mugu's eyes were a little red. His words were accurately transmitted to Xiao Yang's ears through the use of Do Qi. Xiao Yang faintly smiled upon hearing his threat. He glanced at the sky demon puppet beside him and a dense chill flashed across his eyes. His heart was already filled with a killing intent for old Mu Jiyu that was difficult to resolve. Once the matter of the 3,000 burning flame was over, he would definitely let this old fellow know just who would deal with who. Part 1 end here.